What standards are you allowing in your life? Where are you giving yourself an escape route, an excuse, or where are you holding yourself to a standard? Because let's get something straight before we go any further. You may not be lacking motivation. You may not be lacking discipline. It could be because you're just accepting that you can get away with less motivation. You can get away with less discipline. You are allowing your standards to drop, and you are not holding yourself to the standard you know you're capable of. Because your life today, it looks the way it does because of what you tolerate, what your standards are. And this is what this episode is about. This is about you being the standard you want, you showing up and becoming the person you want to become in life. This is about you setting those standards and making sure that you hit them every single day. I'm talking about getting rid of those quiet permissions that you give yourself every day. Those little excuses, those get out of jail free cards, the things you let slide, the conversations you avoid, the promises that you break to yourself, and then you end up rationalizing them. These are the standards you're quietly lowering day in, day out. And that's where your life is being decided. Not in your ambition, not in your goals, not in the version of you that shows up when you're inspired, but in what you've normalized. Welcome back to Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life. This is a podcast to help you take action, to get you from stuck to unstoppable. I'm Sanj, and I'm here to help you on that journey from where you are now to get you on the path to the life that you desire. If you get anything from this episode, please share it with someone who you know would benefit from hearing this. Otherwise, let me know, what are your biggest takeaways? What are you going to implement from this episode? Let me know on Facebook within the Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life community, or tag me or drop me a DM on Instagram at just.live.coaching. So today we're talking about your standards, what you're willing to accept, and why you need to be the standard, why you need to set your standards higher than you currently are. Because let's think about, most people just keep aiming at motivation because it's socially acceptable. I need to get motivated again. I've lost my drive. I know what I should do. I just can't seem to push myself. Yeah, that language is convenient. It places a problem somewhere else. It's vague, it's external. And with that, motivation just becomes this missing ingredient that you're just waiting to feel. But honestly, motivation has almost nothing to do with the life that you're living, because motivation is fleeting. Yeah, it's your standards. They're doing all the work. Even when your motivation disappears, your standards don't require excitement. Your standards don't need hype. Your standards don't ask you how you're feeling today. They decide by default. You don't wake up every day feeling motivated to brush your teeth. You don't negotiate whether you stop at a red light. You don't need a mindset boost to show up to certain commitments. Why? Because in your life, those things are non-negotiable. Now, contrast that with the areas of life where you keep stalling, where you keep stumbling, where you keep hitting the same blocks. Things like your health. You start getting motivated, you start exercising, and then all of a sudden you stop. Your boundaries. You're allowing other people to infringe on your time, your energy, your positivity. Your consistency showing up for yourself, for those around you. Your follow through, your self-respect. Those are not failing because you lack desire. They're failing because you've made them optional. You haven't set yourself a standard. And this is where it can get uncomfortable, because tolerance, it sounds passive. It sounds harmless. It sounds like patience or flexibility. But actually, in reality, tolerance is an actual decision. And it's a decision you're making every single day. Every time you say something like, it's fine, or I'll deal with it later, it's not that bad, I'll start next week, you're not delaying change. You're reinforcing your identity of being someone who does not commit now. You're actually reinforcing that identity of tolerance. You're teaching yourself what kind of person you are. Are you someone who follows through, or are you someone who lets things slide? And here's the part that can get missed. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your standards every time. Not once, not occasionally, every time. And that's why dreaming feels safe and acting and taking action feels heavy, because your dreams don't threaten your current identity, but your standards do. Taking action does. And this is where you can get stuck. This is where you can actually just keep running round and round on that hamster wheel and not getting anywhere. So, what compromises are you making that you probably don't think matter? Maybe skipping that workout again, staying up later than you should. I know that I'm a regular culprit of that one. Yeah, saying yes when you meant no, letting your environment stay cluttered. This is one of my biggest New Year's resolutions, is to try and clear out as much clutter as possible. This year, I am clearing out everything that no longer serves me, no longer feeds me, no longer inspires me to become the best version of myself. Yeah, accepting that low-grade frustration is normal. Yeah, and breaking those small promises to yourself and moving on like nothing happened. If you said to your friend you would be somewhere at 3 p.m., you would do your utmost best to be there at 3 p.m. But if you say you're going to go somewhere, why are you willing to just say, you know what, the weather wasn't great, I'll go next time? Individually, none of these look catastrophic, but that's why they're dangerous. Because they don't destroy your life loudly, they just pick away at it slowly, quietly. Because each compromise you make, it sends a message to your subconscious mind. Yeah, it sends a message: my world isn't final, my comfort comes first, I can't fully trust myself. And that self-trust, it doesn't disappear overnight. It drains slowly, silently, predictably, until one day you're looking around and you're thinking, I know I'm capable of more, so why does my life feel so small? It's not because you didn't want it badly enough, but it's because you tolerated too much along the way. You were willing to compromise so much. You were allowing your standards to drop. And wanting more is great, but it's never changed a life. Everyone wants more. Everyone wants confidence, freedom, energy, alignment, purpose. Wanting is common, but setting those standards are rare. And the gap between the life you want and the life you're living, it's partly effort, but it's enforcement as well. What do you enforce? What do you not allow? Where do you draw a line and you mean it, even if no one is watching, especially when no one is watching? It's easy to say something and do it when people are around, but it's when people are not around, that's when the real work happens. Because your standards force decisions and your decisions force loss. So when you raise your standards, something has to go. It could be a habit, a relationship, a comfort, a version of yourself that felt familiar. Most people don't fail because change is hard. They fail because they don't want to grieve at that what that change requires them to leave behind. So you're not waiting for clarity. You are not waiting for confidence. You are not waiting for the right time. You are waiting for permission. Permission to disappoint, permission to be misunderstood, permission to stop negotiating with versions of yourself that are holding you back. And because no one is coming to give it to you, to give you that permission, you stay stuck in rehearsal mode, planning, reflecting, consuming, preparing, but never crossing the line. This was a big thing when I first started my journey into coaching. It was very easy to plan, to reflect, to start making things change, but it was all rehearsal mode. Never crossing the line, because crossing the line means once you're done, you cannot go back. You cannot unsee what you have then seen. And that's a real fear. So You need to start being aware and start making changes in your life, identifying those things that you've normalized, things that you actually secretly resent. Yeah, think about what are the big things. What would be one thing that you secretly resent, that you tolerate but you complain about it internally? It just doesn't sit right with you. Yeah, just figure out what that is, and then actually start to decide that you're going to make this week. This week is going to be the day, is going to be the week where things change. Yeah, you're going to remove that tolerance. You're going to start setting that standard. You're not going to improve it. You're not going to manage it. Yeah, what you're going to do is you're just no longer going to allow it. You're going to set that standard. And you're going to enforce a boundary. You're going to end something. You're going to start something. You're going to show up even when you don't feel like it. And then after that, when you start doing that, when you start taking that action, that's when your identity starts to shift. Your words will start to matter again. When you start doing something uncomfortable, something visible, something that you can't rationalize away. Yeah, when you keep a promise to yourself, a promise that you said you would do something and you follow through, that's the way you're going to start building your self-trust. That's the way you're going to start building your self-confidence. That's the way you're going to change your life. Because the version of you who keeps dreaming, they're not broken, but they're stuck. The version of you who changes their life and isn't more motivated, they're just less tolerant of those low standards. They're willing to be the standard. They're willing to set higher standards, push themselves, and become the better versions of themselves. They stop negotiating with their mind. They stop waiting for the right time. They stop betraying themselves in small ways, calling it and giving it excuses like patience. You do not need a new personality or insight. You need fewer excuses. You need to set higher standards. When you say something, be the person that when you say something, that is final. Yeah, the moment you decide that you no longer tolerate those low standards, your life starts reorganizing around that decision, whether you like it or not. If you got something from this episode, if you realize that you need to raise your standards, you need to stop accepting those excuses, giving yourself a get out of jail free card. If you got something from this episode, please drop me a DM or tag me on Instagram at just.live.coaching, or drop a message in the Facebook community at Master Your Mindset, Master Your Life. Let me know what changes are you going to implement. Let me know what hit home with you, what you're going to change, and let me know how it impacts your week. It's great to just listen to this podcast, but it's even better to start taking action. If you do nothing, the cost is simple. You're just going to keep drifting. You're going to keep doing what you're doing over years, decades, and time leaves you with two things: results or regret. Which one are you willing to accept? So if you're ready to stop negotiating, drop me a DM, drop me a message, let me know what you're going to implement. And if you know someone who would benefit from hearing this, please share it with them. Leave me a rating and review. And remember, this work is about breaking your unconscious patterns, restoring your self-leadership, mastering the fact that it's not motivation, mastering your standards, master your mindset, and master your life.